Oh! Who's that I see walking in these woods? Why, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want. Listen to me, Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think little big girls should go walking in these spooky old woods alone. Oh! What big eyes you have, the kind of eyes that drive wolves mad. So just to see that you don't get chased, I think I ought to walk with you for a ways. What full lips you have, they're sure to lure someone bad. So until you get to Grandma's place, I think you ought to walk with me. I'm gonna keep.
Hello, listeners. This is Tom Ryan, and you're just in time for True Ghost Stories on Life Omni Radio, WLOR.net. You're at the right place at the right time if you want to hear some amazing ghost stories and paranormal experiences. So grab yourself a drink and tuck yourselves in and get comfortable. But get ready to face your fears. We are True Ghost Stories, and we're calling all ghosts. Come out, come out. Come out of your homes. Come out from wherever you may roam. Hello, listeners and chatters, and thank you all for being here with us. We here at True Ghost Stories welcome you, and we'd like to add some substance to our show. More questions, answers, stories, and research, because the only way the world is going to know the truth is if we find the truth. And we are not alone. There are far too many witnesses out there with stories to tell, and it's our job to share them. True Ghost Stories approach is open-minded. We care not only about the living, but for the spiritual world too. And maybe through our journeys we could figure out why they're here and what they want from us. Or perhaps we can even help a soul cross over. We are True Ghost Stories, and we like to think outside the box. I am Tom Ryan. I'm one of your hosts of True Ghost Stories. And normally at this time I'd be introducing my co-host Adam Ginsberg, but Adam is running a few moments late tonight. So we're going to just get the show cranking. And I'd like to start off by sharing a personal ghost story I experienced before we bring on our guest tonight. And I'm going to work up into the intro, into that who that is. But I guess I was about 11 years old, and a friend of mine named Kurt Stalin, we were home in my hallway where we always played on the staircases. This was an apartment building, a 6-family house in Jersey City. And above the third floor was an attic, and the attic door was kind of this little hatch that was placed on a side wall on the staircase that led, next to the staircase that led up to the third floor. So it was a crawl space. And, one day we're kind of goofing around in the hallway, and we decide to explore the attic, which we'd never done before. So we go up to the third floor, and we crack open this attic hatch. And so, of course, it's kind of hasn't been open for a while, and it pops open and real slowly creaks and squeaks and cracks. Probably painted shut. Nobody been in there for such a long time. And I'm the first one in the entrance as I open the door. And as I peer into the attic, I actually see what looks to be an apparition dissolving right before my eyes, probably about 15 feet deep into the attic in the dark. And what for a moment was a formation just quickly dissolved and moved away. It really freaked me out. And it was something that I didn't tell a lot of people about. Of course, I told my friend Kurt that was there with me about it. And I didn't tell a lot of people about it because obviously it's hard to convince people that these things are real and what you see is something that's genuine and something that is, I mean, how do you convince someone of something that sounds so unbelievable, that how real it was to you? That's basically a personal feeling that you really can't relate to anyone else. And either they believe you or they don't. So what's great about that is this story is that it kind of leads into what this show is about, which is proof, which is substance. And we don't just want to accompany ghost stories, with oohs and ahs and oh, that's incredible. I think the best way to improve, to prove what you're actually presenting is, video footage, audio footage, and that kind of leads into who our guest is tonight, who's got a big part of delivering that kind of audio and video footage to the viewers and to the listeners, that they hear our ghost stories and they hear our guests and they hear their versions of what they experienced and what they saw. But as I always like to say, the proof is in the pudding. And so tonight we have a guest on that is bringing us a show that is built on the True Ghost Stories theme, bringing us proof, bringing us interviews, bringing us video footage, bringing us audio recordings, and letting the viewer and letting our guests and our fans be the judge of what they see and what they believe, and gives us a little bit something more substantive than just a story. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce our guest for tonight, Mr. Larry Overman, the producer of True Ghost Stories TV. Larry, are you with me?
I absolutely am here.
How are you, buddy?
Oh, sore as you know what, man, let me tell you. But I'm out here in a beautiful top secret location with National Geographic, and the show that's going to come out of this is just going to be absolutely phenomenal.
Nice. Yeah. What are you shooting? Yeah. Are you shooting like National Geographic, or what is it you guys are shooting out there?
Well, I really can't tell you right now because I'm on non-disclosure. But what I can tell you is everybody needs to be watching Nat Geo come this fall. Incredible cast, incredible crew. These guys work double time. And it's unlike any show that has ever been out there. And it's incredible.
Wow.
Kind of along the lines of what we're doing with True Ghost Stories.
Okay.
There's so many, but it's not a paranormal show. Let me put that out there.
Okay.
What we're doing with True Ghost Stories is we're trying to find truth about the paranormal. It's all about truth. We don't want anybody that's a team that submits their footage or their episode. If there's any thing that's made up or overly exaggerated,
right,
they're out. It's simple. It's either going to be real and legit or they're done.
And that's a great statement that you make about that, Larry, because that's one of my pet peeves about the paranormal shows. Don't make me sit there for a half hour or an hour and watch your team walk through a place where, every time you're about to go to commercial, somebody says, "What's that noise?" And then you come back and it's absolutely nothing, and I'm not getting any substance from that, show. Mm-hmm. Is this show going to be bringing us some serious encounters? Or on the flip side of that, is the show going to be bringing us the truth that if somebody's full of baloney and calling a team out, they're basically walking out saying this was a waste of time, there's nothing here, this is an old house? Exactly.
And one of the things that I can't stand, and I'm not a paranormal investigator at all, I've never claimed to be, I do enjoy being part of investigations because I think there is another energy out there that we need to understand.
Yep.
So the searching for the unknown is what I enjoy about it. And when you have shows that show something happening every single episode, sure, you can go out and do an investigation at the Dredge in Sumter, for example. Some people have gotten evidence of a haunting there from Joe or whoever. Other people have never gotten anything. You're not going
Right.
to get activity every single time you're there.
Right.
And there's just no way in the world that some of these shows are getting something on every single episode. It's impossible.
Right. And you
And
guys,
that's
so
what True Ghost Stories is about. These
Right,
teams
so
that
you-
are working really, really hard are going after the truth. And not every time. You know, they might be in a spooky situation, but they're not going to get evidence or EVPs or, you know, a shadow person moving through a laser grid. They're not going to get that every single time. And they're showing it that they're not getting it. But there's still something about that element that is still entertaining to the viewer. And
Right.
we'll still deliver that.
And now what I understand is very cool about the show is that you're actually going to be bringing us different teams. It's not going to be the same team every week, right? It's going to be, are we going to see a wide variety of locations and team members? So you're actually getting a perspective from different teams of ghost hunters.
Exactly. And from all around the world. I think we have a total of 12 teams right now. And my goal is to have at least 40. So that way, rather than taking time off, there's a new episode hitting every single week,
Nice.
all year long. Why take a break? You know, it always kills me. You're getting in really good into a show, and then all of a sudden they're off for summer break.
So now
What's the
how?
fun in that? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Now let me ask you this too, Larry, because I'm kind of curious about it because I heard what you mentioned before, and you said I'm not a ghost hunter and all that. But I mean, from what you've seen so far, are you a believer?
I'm a believer. I am absolutely a believer, but
Okay.
I also look at things with a skeptic's eye,
Right.
because you always have to ask that question. That's kind of the mathematical side of me.
Right.
You know, you're always okay. What can I rule anything out? Was there, you know, a shadow, or so? Was somebody able to walk past a window from the other side of the wall? You know, what's the construction of the building? Was that rattled because, you know, the hot water pipe that just turned back on wasn't properly insulated? It was shaking in the floor rafters. You know, there's a number of variables. So when I'm looking at things or paying attention or listening, that's the kind of things that I'm looking at. Okay, can it be justified, or is this an oh my God moment? We actually got something.
Sure. And that's
We
what
had
makes
some of those in Arizona, for example, and we weren't doing a nighttime investigation. It was broad daylight. We were at the McClowery Ranch,
Yeah.
and we got clear, very good EVPs, and I was floored. It was just phenomenal evidence when I was out there with him.
What's the feeling in the group, Larry, when something like that happens? I mean, you got a bunch of people. I'm sure you have some of them that are skeptics, and I'm sure that you probably have a good handful of them that are believers, and you know, I mean, if they're investing in the equipment and what have you, they feel that they're going to find something. But what's the general feeling like when you're on a hunt like that, or you're in an experience like that, and then suddenly, you know, all the registers or all the needles are going off the charts, and you're getting the audio that you're looking for, and you're getting these, and you're registering this, and everybody's kind of looking at each other, and I'm sure, isn't there a moment when everybody's kind of looking at each other like with this, like, can you believe this is happening moment? Like, how does that come across?
You know, with some of the things that happened to us at the McClowery Ranch, people were like, oh my gosh, history needs to be rewritten. The McClowerys weren't the bad guys that they were made out to be.
And
that was an oh my God moment for the whole group. They were like, wow. You know, because they were asking very specific questions.
So this is through communications.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was very powerful, extremely powerful. They were answering very clearly. And even with the EMF meter, you know, nobody was anywhere around it. It's setting on a rock that used to be part of the foundation of the house.
Right.
And we're all standing back, and, you know, a couple of people are asking questions. There was one person in particular, a young psychic medium. She got more responses and more activity than anybody. So there was something about her that they really enjoyed talking to her. You know, so it was a really unique experience, even more so than some of the experiences I've had at the Crescent Mine.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be kind of life-changing moments for you, right? I mean, when you have these communications, I mean, are you a religious person, Larry?
I was baptized Catholic in 2007.
Okay, okay. So you
And
were.
since then, I've become what they call a creaster. I go on Christmas and Easter.
Okay, I
You know,
gotcha.
there's been a few shows that I've watched that's actually caused me to question a few things.
Yeah.
And so when you watch shows like Ancient Aliens and a various bunch of other shows, and you know that there's a higher power, but now you start to educate yourself very well, and then you start to kind of piece puzzles together, and you start asking those what if questions.
Yeah.
What if the human race actually came here from Mars, and the pyramids are an energy source? And then when you look at some of the ancient towns in the Middle East, that when you look at the remnants, the people died instantly by some sort of volcanic, or not volcanic, but some sort of nuclear power blast. And you're like, okay, we
How did
came
that
down
happen?
here from another planet because we destroyed that planet, and this was the next livable planet. And that technology was destroyed, which killed those people that were too close to it.
Wow, that's interesting. So,
To literally force us to start completely over.
yeah.
And now, several thousand years later, we're now developing these technologies and putting us right back into the same boat.
When's that going to be on the show?
You know what I'm saying? So it's just that's just
Yeah.
some of the things that I ask myself, what if? Now, does
Yeah.
this make sense?
Well, this is my
So it's
point.
just
I mean,
one of those
yeah,
questions.
this is something I always talk about on this show. Is that, I mean, for me, the day that I actually have a spirit speak to me directly, or the day that I actually see a UFO flying through the air, is going to be a freaking life-changing moment for me. I mean, I believe, that's what's so important to me. And to get back to what the TV show is about, it's I want to get to the truth. I don't need to hear the ghost stories. I want to see the video footage. I want to see the stuff that's undeniable, or that's at least confirmable. I want to see that kind of stuff. Now let me ask you this: as far as the TV show goes, where do you want this to go? So the show starts to deliver the truth about the paranormal. What are your visions for where the show can go, and what it could do to change people's perspectives on the afterlife?
What I think is going to happen is, as we start releasing these episodes of each team, I think that we're going to be on Amazon Fire. Roku is the first one. It's the largest one out there right now, and there's a couple of other online mediums that we're going to be utilizing. And then, of course, the embed is always in our website. So what I think is going to happen is, at some point, the viewership is going to be so high that one of the networks are going to say, okay, these guys are onto something. Let's take them mainstream as well. And then that'll be a whole new negotiating process.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I think it may lead to. Some of these other shows and the way they do certain things, fact or fake. I know the special effects guy personally. He's a friend of mine. So great guy. And then you look at what we had for Ghost Mine. We had our executive producers on site were the creators of Ghost Hunters International. So it's natural. It was a natural course for what they were doing, and I believe that was part of the downfall of the show. They were trying to take a show that was supposed to be about mining with a paranormal twist and flipping those two around.
Gotcha.
Season 1, we had everybody's attention. We had great ratings first coming out of the hole. And then Season 2, it took a weird spin. There's never been any Chinese workers at that property. The Chinese walls are damn near an hour drive from the mine. Hell's Canyon is a 2 or 3 hour drive from the mine. There is absolutely no way that they could be connected.
And do you have any of this on video, Larry, in the mine? Is this something that we could watch or share?
The only thing that I've got out of the mine myself was in the summer of 2010. I had a book author come up to the mine, and he wanted to take some photographs. And where the idea of a possible haunting could be, some of the photographs actually, there was fog in the image that looked like a skull.
Okay.
And there was fog that looked like a shadow man in the middle of the fog. But there's no fog underground. It's 52 degrees year-round. There's no way it creates fog. Your breath doesn't fog. There's no purpose or no reason at all for that fog to be there.
Huh. No moisture or anything under there that could be heat pockets or something?
It's no heat pockets. It's just wet. The crescent mine is wet.
Yeah.
For the summer melt-off, the water leaches through the ground and leaks into the mine. By July, August, it's all dried out.
I gotcha. Well, Larry, at this time I want to bring in Adam, my partner, my co-host, who has
Sure.
Luckily he's joined the show because I couldn't do it without him. And Adam, I want you to jump in here and shoot a few questions at Larry. Larry, as you know, is the producer of True Ghost Stories TV, and you're listening to True Ghost Stories now on WLOR.net. But Larry and I are talking about his perspectives on what it is that they're trying to deliver, as far as the same thing that we're trying to deliver, which is basically the truth.
Right.
And he's had some personal experiences as well that he can't deny. But what I like is that he's a man that's looking for facts and he's looking for evidence. And I know that Adam is cut from the same cloth as I am as far as that goes. We're very interested in the unknown, but we're not suckers. Right, Adam?
Well, first off, Larry, thanks for coming on the program and for with Sherry spearheading this whole True Ghost Stories thing, because we wouldn't be doing this without you guys.
Thank you.
No problem. I apologize for being late. Some things are out of our control in life, like blown tires. So what are you going to do? I don't want to go over something you guys already have, but really, I think my questions come more along the lines of the idea behind putting together such a unique project. And if you guys covered this already, I apologize. And what I mean by this is having a large number of paranormal investigative groups all coming under one umbrella, as opposed to what audiences on television, I guess, are used to, which is sort of following along with one cast of characters as they go on adventure after adventure. This, I think, is very unique, and I love the fact that it's people from all over the country. I think that's going to do amazingly well as far as various demographics in different states and such. I'm really curious where that idea came from to sort of go on that big of a scale.
So Sherry and I had a conversation about True Ghost Stories, and the conversation started out with, how do you feel about having a couple of teams around the country do this? And I said, Sherry, it's the internet. You have control over the whole world. Don't think the United States. We have the power to be all over the world because of the internet.
Right.
So why limit it to just here? So far, as I've been screening a few episodes, we got some amazing footage. And we did leak one episode out there. It is out there on TeslaWolfMedia.com, and it's under the free live stream button. You can watch that one. Here very, very shortly, we're going to be introducing everybody to our horror hostess, Little Bo Creep, and she's an amazing young woman, and she reminds me of a very young Elvira, but she has her own spin and own twist. She lives a goth vampire type lifestyle, but she is a very incredible young lady and very talented. So we're going to have an amazing hostess be able to deliver this show. It's going to be good.
Hey Larry, real quickly, for our viewers' sake, can you give us a quick rundown of our teams and where they're coming out of? I mean, I've seen a ton of teams on our correspondence on the True Ghost Stories page. Can you just give our listeners, because I'm sure our listeners are located all over the country, and they might like to know that, wow, there's a ghost hunting team in my state. Where?
Wow, that's going to be a stretch. I know we have Massachusetts, I believe. I'm trying to remember where Eric is from, but we have the team there. I believe Pennsylvania. We have the UK. We have Ireland. And I believe there's an Australian team. And
Nice.
that's about as far as my memory can really stretch with the medication that I'm on.
Well, yeah, when you're seeing ghosts, you have to take medication, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah. Nah.
keep yourself sane.
Blew a disc, and my doctor was like, we need to get you in quick. I said, pause right there. I said, let me tell you my schedule, and then we'll see how we're going to fit it in.
Right.
I said, I'm with Nat Geo this week, and 2 weeks after that, I'm going to China. So how can we fit this in?
Nice.
So, yeah, so it's like, I don't make it work, Doc. He says, well, I may not let you fly to China. I said, you may not have a choice. Just like doing this with Nat Geo. I'll take some, and I'm not taking any opiate-based or any narcotic-based painkillers. It's either, I'm just doing it as natural as I can. And
Are you going ghost hunting in China?
tough it out.
Larry, are you going
No,
ghost
I'm not. I'm not going ghost hunting in China. I am actually going over to teach in China for a little bit. My background is, most everybody that knows me knows that my background is the oil industry.
Okay.
So I am going to go over and teach this group of Chinese, great oil workers in their own right, but some things they don't have experience with, and horizontal drilling with a coil tubing unit is something that I excel at.
Oh,
So
excellent.
I'm going to teach them how to do that.
Oh, that's great. I actually have a list. I wanted to pull up this list and just read it off really quickly, but this is what I was asking Larry about earlier, is basically our ghost hunting teams, our true ghost story teams that are going to be submitting footage to us and proof, Adam. Finally some proof. But they're going to be shooting out of Illinois, out of Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ireland, Australia, the UK, Texas, and California.
Now, I don't know who's all on the Texas team,
Yeah.
but depending on if they reach out to me or not, there may be a possibility that I may actually go help them.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Because I moved back to Texas last January.
Well, you know that Adam and I, our future plans consist of us going mobile and actually, so I'm looking at these New Jersey, New York teams and wondering if maybe someday Adam and I could tag along and either bring the evidence or debunk the investigation.
Yep.
Whatever we could do. Yeah, that's awesome.
Tom, real quick. Larry, I know I missed the first few minutes. Did you guys go over how you got involved in this arena, Larry? In the first place?
We didn't. But
what drew you to the
really
paranormal?
short story.
Okay.
Yeah. So when Ghost Mine, after the first season, after season 1 was over and it aired, and I started getting emails and phone calls and just craziness, messages through the Facebook and everything. People asking if we would like to tag along. I was like, why not? I love meeting people. So it just kind of came with the territory of the show, even though it was made very clear there that I was the mine owner. People just wanted us to tag along just to see what they were doing. And I found a lot of teams that have a very high level of professionalism,
right? And
they're very freaking serious. I mean, very serious. Most of all the teams that we went with were very serious. There was only one team that I went out with, and I thought they were a bunch of clowns, but I never told them that. I just let them do their thing, say, right on, maybe show them a few tricks, things that I picked up by observing other teams. But, I never want to discredit anybody's efforts. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Just simple invitation. That's how it happened.
Isn't that how most things happen? A simple invitation changes your life.
It does. That's where Paranoia TV came from.
So you guys, I know Sherry's mentioned this a few times, and Paranoia TV and the Roku connection. Would you mind going over with our listeners a little bit about that, if you haven't already, where they can expect to find this?
So on the Roku channel, what'll happen is whether it's on the web or through your Roku box. As of right now, your membership sign up and everything is all done through the website at TeslaWolfMedia.com or ParanoiaTV.com. We go to the same location.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have signed up and become a member, then you can go in underneath your account and click on My Roku. If you've already got a Roku account, you'll link your Roku account to that, and it will install the Roku app on your device the next time you start it up and go into settings and do update.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, there's really no fast way to do it. And we are working on a version of having it in the Roku store, but we want to make sure that there's no kinks or anything weird going on with that app. So we're just beating that app up to make sure that when we do submit it to Roku, that it will pass their testing very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Now, for those not familiar with Roku, and my home is one of them that doesn't have it, I want to let everybody know it doesn't appear to be very difficult to get yourself set up. I think the hardware can be had for somewhere around $50 from the low end.
Anywhere from $39.95.
It's even lower. See that?
Bucks.
Yeah. And I know from speaking to Sherry that it's fabulous in terms of the various programming opportunities within, quality of what you're watching, and in terms of you know that you're not watching right off your usual cable or dish or whatever it is. I mean, you're not sacrificing any quality. And now you have literally a smorgasbord via Roku of some awesome programming like True Ghost Stories that's coming.
There's over 5,000 channels on there, a plethora of free channels.
Mm-hmm.
From cooking to just pretty much anything you want to look up, you can find it on there. It's amazing. There's just tons of stuff. My wife and I, we love Thai food, and there's a channel that is dedicated to making Thai food.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love Thai food too.
Yeah, there's another one that we found that was had to do with yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just pretty much it's like YouTube for your TV.
Right.
Basically, you can even if you have a Netflix account, and the Netflix app is there. Pretty much all of the cable network channels are there, and those require a subscription that would be paid by your cable provider. But
did we announce the premiere date yet?
No, we did. The first episode was Shadow Hunters.
Yep.
Nick's
saw
team,
that one.
We leaked that one the other day.
Yep.
And we just kind of put it out there to check out traffic, and I was impressed. As always, we'd always like to see higher numbers, but I was impressed. And that show will be re-airing with our horror hostess in September.
Okay.
And just between us and the listeners, we are going to be leaking a UK episode here very shortly.
Oh, excellent.
Now, Larry, you're reviewing you're reviewing footage as it comes in from the various teams, I would imagine. Do you see, being that we have some overseas teams, do you see a difference, aside from accents and things like that, but do you see a difference in the way that they look to go about an investigation or the way that they present their findings from someone in the U.S.?
No, they're all pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I would say, the UK group, whoever's doing their editing is phenomenal. They have done a very good job with putting their episode together, and Nick has done an incredible job making some of his treatments and putting his episodes together. Each team, they all kind of come at it from their own. It represents the personalities of the people there very well, and that's kind of what leads me to believe that this thing is actually going to get really huge, because all of the people are very likable, and what they're doing with care, and there's enough suspense and enough action to keep people's attention. They're not boring, they're not slow. They took their highlights and did a very good job of telling the story of what was going on. So, I mean, and that's kind of why we reached out and did it globally, because then you do end up with episodes pretty much that do have evidence, because we get them 3-4 weeks ahead of their air date.
Mm-hmm.
So we get that chance to review and see. And if they don't fit, or if there's something that needs to be tweaked, we bounce it back to them and say, hey, fix this.
Right.
Yeah.
So Larry, I'm gonna drop the bomb on you that I always drop on everybody when they come on the show, and I want to ask. Okay, so we have spirits living among us that we are recording or documenting or getting some type of proof or evidence of. My question is why? Why are they communicating with us? Why are they stuck here? For how long are they stuck here? People say ghosts from the Civil War. People see spirits of their relatives, their grandma, people that maybe didn't have unfinished business, people that died when they were old and lived their lives. What's your perspective? And you don't have to have an answer, but I just wonder if you might have a perspective on it.
I do. Science has already proven that energy never goes away. It just changes form.
Okay.
The energy from a log throwing in a fire, just because the fire went out doesn't mean that energy went away. It just changed form.
Okay.
The energy was released as heat. So the log went from being a log to heat and carbon. And then that carbon would be broken down even further by process of becoming those whatever's in the ashes go back into the earth. That energy is then sucked back up by another tree and is used, and then becomes firewood again, or something else. Some other plant grew right there. A vegetable garden or whatever. Energy never goes away; it just changes form.
Right.
So when our bodies pass, our energy, just because our living being goes away, our energy still exists. It just changes form.
So then, with that being said, doesn't that negate a heaven or hell?
Pretty much.
Did you hear my question?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you think that negates a heaven or a hell if the energy just kind of remains?
It very well could.
Okay.
I can't say one way or another because I'm not a scientist.
Okay.
That's what science is saying.
Okay.
I would agree with you.
Okay.
But
so
I do believe
but I
there's
like
a higher
that.
power. I just don't know what it is.
Listen, I like to explore all the different possibilities for what the afterlife could be like, because obviously there must be an explanation. When people are, we've had very religious guests on the show that believe that heaven or hell was the final destination, and that the spiritual world was a middle ground, a transference point where people were stuck in limbo or in purgatory or whatever you want to call it. And but I appreciate that you could take the angle that, hey, maybe there is no heaven or hell, and maybe the energy just continues to exist.
To the fourth dimension.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
But here's the other twist to that. Here's the other side of that. I almost just lost my train of thought. But when you... pardon me just a minute. So when you have the energy that changes and goes somewhere else, and... Shit, my brain just went blank.
That's
I thought by saying that I'd re-trigger my thought.
It's probably the fourth dimension. I'm not messing with you.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's definitely.
Okay, so
no, I think it's.
You say you have guests that believe that absolute, without a shadow of a doubt, that heaven or hell is your final destination. But for decades, we believed that Christopher Columbus founded America, and we've now proven that wrong.
Right.
The Vikings, Templars, natives from Russia came over the Yucatan Peninsula.
Right.
There was tons of people here long before Christopher Columbus. He didn't discover America. He had a map, a Templar map, because of his family background that told him that this was already existing. Right. They found maps that show it as America that are predating
sure.
What was it, 1462 or 1492 when Columbus sailed the blue. So there's maps older than that showing that they were already calling this the Americas long before it was the United States of America.
Sure. Well, we think that we know everything about what we think we know everything about, but things do change and information does change. And I actually liked I appreciate your perspective on what the afterlife could be, because there's always that struggle with understanding why people believe in the afterlife. There's always that struggle between understanding that people have egos that need to be satisfied, and they hate to think of themselves as ever ending completely and finally. And so they love to believe that somehow, somewhere, their mind and spirit will carry on, and their thoughts and experiences will not be lost to death.
Exactly.
But
us in the species, we have this tendency to want to believe all of that, and we believe what is taught to us out of the book, out of the Bible. We believe that, or if you're Muslim, out of the Quran, you believe that. It becomes part of your life. It's ingrained in you.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there has been very few people that show any proof of that, number one. But without having something to believe in, people would go nuts.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
People are weak, and they do things based on fear a lot of the time. And like right now, we have all this gas, prices are high, people are laid off. People are fearful. We're warming up the planet. Well, we can cool the planet back off. That goes into the HARP side of stuff, and using weather as a weapon. So there's things that we have done to this planet that, sure. But there's also a natural warming spell. But they're using that level of fear of, oh my God, we're destroying the planet. Well, yeah, we're leaving our mark on it, that's for sure. But when you use religion and keep people fearful, it's really sad to say, but it also keeps the money flowing.
Yeah.
As long as they're scared, they are the sheep. The speaker is the leader, and that person is a representation of Christ. But they also are very tricky sometimes and use. I've been to a couple churches where it was just phenomenal. They use this level of fear to increase what you put in the basket.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not fair. I agree with you. But again, True Ghost Stories, we're not so much about religion. I think it's more about just want to get some proof about the afterlife, because we know that every religion believes in the afterlife. So it's not particular to any faith, and whether it exists or not is what we're after. We want to know, is it there or not, or should I spend all my money before I die?
Right. Hey,
spend it all. You can't take it with you.
Guys, I see we've got a note here for Larry, Sherry, and Nicholas here in the chat room. This is from looks like Wraith Stalker Vicky. I think that Larry, Sherry, and Nicholas should know how grateful we as the teams are for the opportunity they have given us, and that I know I can speak for my team, that we're so excited that someone wants the truth out there without scripts, just us doing our own investigations. And I think that's really what is very cool.
Yeah.
I like to call it actuality TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to buy the URL and found out that it belongs to Real TV.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure there were no pretenders coming behind them, I'm sure.
No, they wanted to tie that one up.
Yeah.
But and you're very welcome, and that's what we're looking for. We want real, genuine people doing what they love to do, and as long as they are themselves, then everything should turn out great.
Right. Well, I think that's the key to it. It is reality TV in a sense, and what you're trying to do here is a little bit different than what most folks think is real reality TV, which is very scripted and built up with editing for drama and such. And here, I think we've got some real grassroots people involved, and
S3E14.com. Automated notification. New video message received. To view video messages.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello.
I'm here.
Okay,
Hello?
yeah, I dropped out for a second.
Oh, okay. Yep, me too. I'm sorry, everybody. I guess we just dropped out. We apologize. You're listening to WLOR.net. You're listening to Larry Overman. He's the producer of True Ghost Stories TV. You're here with Adam Ginsberg and myself, Tom Ryan. And we're just talking to Larry about the launch of True Ghost Stories TV and bringing a little proof and substance and, not so much drama, but a little bit more of what it's like to be out there doing some true ghost hunting and getting down and dirty and either seeing it or not seeing it, but giving us the real deal. And I think that's important.
Absolutely.
So I want to circle back just a little bit. When you were telling your story, you're talking about going up through the attic. I really, really expected you to say that when you got up there and you turned on a light, there was a full-scale model of the whole town you lived in. And this little guy pops up. Come on, speed.
And he says, "Hey, nice effing model."
I was so totally waiting for it, and I got up there, and there's this little scale model of the whole city.
Yeah, those are the ghost stories we're really looking forward to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, listen, I appreciate you coming on today, and I'm sure Adam does as well. But
Absolutely, Larry.
he's going to say whether
Thanks
or not.
for having me on, guys.
But yeah, we really appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to seeing what it is that all these teams from everywhere, from Europe to northern New Jersey to southern, from northern United States to the west, to the south, to the Midwest, and Europe. I want to see what these guys have to bring to us, and I look forward to it. And I appreciate coming on the show, and I know that it's not going to be the last time you're going to come on the show, because as soon as Adam and I see something that really piques our interest and we know that it might be some proof, we're going to call you back on and see if you could, substantiate what we're watching.
Sounds cool.
Totally.
I look forward to it.
All right. Larry, thanks very much.
All right, guys. Hey,
take care, buddy.
Be sure, everybody, to watch our fan pages on our Facebook. And the show that I'm actually helping with now, as soon as that show hits the air, when their season starts, what we're doing right now is like the 9th episode. But as soon as it starts to air, I will let everybody know. You got to watch it. You got to support. These guys are friends of mine, and they're all incredible people. And it's just going to be like a show that nobody's ever seen before. It's full of
really
reality.
awesome.
It's full of natural humor just because of the personalities involved. And every one of these guys are incredible in their own right. And they've all had TV shows of their own and just outstanding individuals. So be watching for that. Be posted on
Sounds awesome.
Facebook.
Come on and plug it, man, when it's coming up. Come on and plug it.
Absolutely.
We'll do it.
All right, Larry.
Gentlemen. Thank you for having me on. I need to get back over to this meeting. So.
All right. You got it. Take care. Good luck.
You are very
Take
welcome,
care. Talk to
Larry.
you later.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Adam, I look forward to True Ghost Stories TV because I really want to see what these guys are doing out there. I mean, they reach out to us. The listeners don't know it, but we have a True Ghost Stories community on Facebook where we discuss what's being found and what's being presented as evidence. And, I am 100% a person that believes in what you see is what you get. And
Yes.
we could do ghost stories all day and tell each other, but it's always basically, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and so are ghost stories. And
Yes.
you could be on the verge of a mental breakdown and think that you see a ghost coming at you, and if you were not on the verge of a mental breakdown, maybe you wouldn't have seen it. And so again, it's all on your personal experience and what affects you and where you are and what you're feeling that day when you see what you see. So when you start to see the video and audio evidence, it's indisputable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's
Agreed.
And don't get me wrong, I understand it's disputable as far as CGI goes, and you can edit things and you could distort things, but it starts the conversation where we can say, okay, is this something that has been broken down, and what's the video evidence? Has someone analyzed the tape to see if it's been fooled with, and all that type of stuff? But that's what I like to see, and I hopefully, and I think it will, because Larry is committed to this. I think it's gonna, and Sherry's committed to it, and all the teams are committed to it, because these guys are putting in the hard work to put these shows together. I think it's going to be excellent.
I get the sense that this is and this is maybe it may sound shameless because I'm involved in it, but I am very happy to be involved, because I get the sense that this is a juggernaut that's being built here.
Yeah,
and it's really unique. You and I I feel like we're in the catbird seat in terms of the radio and the mouthpiece, sort of looking over as this thing grows, all these teams, and I'm looking forward to. As time and budgets allow, perhaps you and I can get beyond New York and New Jersey and maybe even get out on the road with some of these teams here and there for some of the more highlighted haunt expeditions and such. I mean, this could get really, really cool really fast. So I'm looking very forward to it.
I'll tell you what, man, I'm in the frame of mind where if I see some serious footage or some serious audio proof, I want to go out there, you and me, and we go out there and we say, we want to get in the middle of it. I want to see what's really going on.
Yeah. Well, I got an interesting story for you tonight.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Real quick to end the show, I was at one of Long Island's most haunted places this week, a place called Katie's, which is like a bar in a town called Smithtown. And this place is historically haunted. It's been on A&E's Paranormal State before. And we had an impromptu meeting, my wife and I, with the proprietor, Brian, regarding our Haunt Fair event. And he basically gave us the tour of the place while we were there. And the place has a history that involves an old hotel. It involves a bartender. It involves all sorts of things that have happened in Prohibition, so on and so forth. I think even going back to the 16th century, on those grounds, things had happened. Anyway, long story short is apparently books have been appearing in the corner of the bar, and I took a walk. I wouldn't touch them to save my life, but
right.
As soon as I got near the books, they were these really odd books sort of stacked over there in the corner, and Brian said he has no idea where they've been coming from. One of them was at least 100 some odd years old. One of the books that was there. And then he took us downstairs to, I guess, the extra party area, or it's sort of a secondary bar. And I kid you not, when I walked down there, Elsie felt the same thing. The air, everything sort of just got very oppressive. Physical weight almost on your body as we were walking along down there. And there was a line. Well, back on hold again. There was a line in the floor that he had made for no rhyme or reason, apparently, when he was rebuilding this basement area. And what he found out later is that it actually noted a line where a wall had previously been. And apparently, if you crossed over this line, that's when things got really hot and heavy. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I decided to cross over the line. And the room definitely felt cooler. In this one part of it, it just suddenly got a little cooler. I really felt like I was being stared at hard. I can't describe it any other way.
Yeah.
And I found myself speaking and saying, "Hey, I respect your place, and I appreciate being here." I don't even know where these things or why I was saying them or who I was saying them to, but I almost felt obligated. Sometimes
you felt that much.
Like,
you felt that much
yes.
pressure of being in that situation.
I felt obligated to have to say something, and I kind of walked around that side of the room, and then I came back across the line to where my wife was standing with Brian. We continued to talk. She was getting physically uncomfortable and was looking forward to us getting out of there. Just sort of the pressure. She's had her surgeries and stuff. She said that she's actually feeling pressure and just wanted to get out of there. And I don't know if this means anything. I know Sherry's listening, and hopefully Larry is, but I believe that I have the go-ahead for us to do an investigation there at any time we'd like. He even told me if I wanted to come and sleep there, he wouldn't stay, but he said, I'll lock you in if you want to stay here and see what happens. So, this is right here on Long Island where I am. And
the dare is on.
Yeah, it is a bona fide haunted bar. There's actually a bartender that was there ages and age ago.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Is it a fully stocked bar?
Yes, it is, sir.
We're doing it. We're spending the night, Adam. We're spending the night, buddy. It's on.
Brian actually told me that he spent the night there once, and he had some sort of and we'll get him on the show. He agreed he would love to come on as a guest at some point, and we'll let him tell these stories. But he had what he felt was a bona fide out-of-body experience in that basement. He said he would never again, here he is, the guy who owns the place. He said he would never do that again. I guess it was during his build and reconstruction and such. And apparently a number of investigators have been there. There's a high level of activity, and it sounds right up our alley.
Let's do it. Let's get on it. And real quickly, before we close out the show, because I know Adam's going to take us out, but he was mentioning Haunt Fair, and I want to mention it as a plug because it's a big event, and I think that it really goes hand in hand with True Ghost Stories. But Adam and his wife, Elsie Macabre, are hosting what is coming up on August 1st and 2nd at the Upsky Hotel in Hauppauge, New York, what is called Haunt Fair.
Yes.
And Haunt Fair is just a collection of people that host and organize local haunts in the Long Island area and beyond, or is it just Long Island, Adam?
Oh, it's and beyond, and we have some luminaries from the haunt industry coming in to speak. We have some panels on special effects makeup. We've opened the door to paranormal. We have some paranormal guests coming in, as well as vendors. There'll be entertainment. We have a car show going on. It's going to be an amazing time.
It's going to be wild. Yeah. I've been watching your post. I've been watching all the posts and the guests and everything that these guys are going to have. It's going to be fantastic. If you're into the paranormal, if you love haunted houses around Halloween and taking your family and going to haunts, or if you're an actor or a performer and you love to be involved in these haunts, it's just going to be an awesome, man. I've been watching. It looks so impressive. You guys always kick butt on these
Thank
gatherings and stuff, and I'm looking so forward to it. But I just wanted to mention it before you take us.
Yes, I will.
Out for the night.
We'll do right now. Guys, check out haunt-fair with an E.com if you'd like to learn more. But now, do you ever feel like you're not alone? Do you ever feel like someone or something is near you? Have you felt touched or that something has brushed up against you? Do you hear voices? Do you have vivid dreams of dead loved ones? Do you see shadow people? What are they? Who are they? An angel or a demon? Or just someone reaching out? We believe someone or something is reaching out. We want to tell the world the truth. Our experiences are not a figment of our imagination. They are things that walk the earth that are unknown to us. We want to find out what they are. We want to share it with all of you, and so do they. We want to tell our stories and their stories. We are True Ghost Stories. Tune in next time for myself, Adam Ginsberg, and my co-host extraordinaire, Thomas Ryan. And for now, have a great week and a great night. Happy ghost hunting.
Nothing else look right. Time catches up with you. If only in your dreams. Wake up with a coin in hand and hear the ravens scream. In the shadows of the night, you can run, you can hide. In the shadows of the night, you can lose your life. Somewhere in another place, so many miles apart, he runs away from what's to come and cries out with his heart, following that highway, not sure of where to go, looking up ahead of him. He sees the joining road. He doesn't see the stop sign there. No time to turn away. The raven's perched up on that wreck, yelling, I want you up this day. In the shadows of the night, you can run, you can hide. In the shadows of the night, there's no time, no time you can buy. No. Kicking and screaming, scratching and beating, just to stay alive. Dealing and stealing, cheating and dealing, no foolish for life. Begging and bleeding, barely just breathing, the end of the road is near. The end of the road is near. Tell me, what do you fear?
The Shadows of the Night by Ronnie Barr. Thanks for listening.